Hostile forces detected. Arming raid defenses. Resubscription received. Apparently you are doing something right, Captain. Resubscription received. Apparently you are doing something right, Captain.
Whoa, I saw a notification pop right there. Kind of from the subscriptions, I guess. But anyway, and then it disappeared really quickly. Please check out Kemi's Bandcamp. In the chat, I guess it would technically be on this side for you guys when you guys see the stream. But anyway, or was it this side? Whatever. Anyway, more great Ace Attorney today. That's what I'm gonna be streaming for a while. I've pushed back Ghost of Tsushima and Demon Souls just cause I've awaited this game for years and I want to finish this game. There's 2 games. 2 games. Alright. But anyways, Jade and Red, thank you for the resubs. What's up? How are you two? Jade, you're still a midget. You're shorter than me, so it's fine.
深い闇の中でホームズと私は息を潜めて待っていた。やがて通気口からシューシューと低くうなるような音が聞こえてきた。
You're the midget.
その瞬間、突然ホームズが飛び出して闇の一点をステッキで鋭く打ち据えた。見たかワトソン。ホームズの張り詰めた声が空気を震わす。私がランプの遮光板を上げると部屋の情景がぼんやり浮かび上がった。ホームズは部屋の隅を睨みつけて私に向かってつぶやくように言った。被害者が死の間際に言い残したまだらの
Wait, if you two are the same height, then you're both midgets to me. I'm 5'5", y'all 5'2".
こいつだったのだよ、ワトソン。
Short stacks.
巨大な毒蛇が牙を向き威嚇するようにトグロを巻いていた。それは世にも恐ろしいまだらの紐だった。
I mean, I thought, damn, I was short, but Jesus, 5'2"? Nah, I'm kidding. Y'all still short though, but I'm stop messing with you guys now. Wait, Red, are you 5'4"? No, Jade. Yeah, you're 5'4", Red. You're an inch shorter than me then. But you're near my height, friend, so it's okay. Jade's short though.
被害者は死の間際にメッセージを残したようだ。ここに落ちているインクを使って書いたと考えられる。ロシア語。どうやら被害者はロシア人ということか。文字に全く乱れは感じられない。被害者は
Toxic as fuck, right?
見たことのない妙な文字だな。筆跡はこのメッセージとは明らかに違う。
Right, so I intended starting a lot sooner today, but I ended up working overtime, and I wanted a little bit of time to decompress, so yeah.
札を貼ったのは犯行時間の直前、被害者自身だったようだな。ほう、これは。
Busy killing buildings. Killing buildings? What the hell?
その必要はない。どうやら今から5秒以内に諸君を犯人に紹介できそうだ。バカを言うな。殺人現場だぞ。しかも奇怪な密室殺人だ。それでは密室の謎、その封印を解くとしましょうか。
まさかその中に犯人が。
一体君は何者なのだ。僕は大英帝国が誇る
Not another one of those fucking
シャーロック・ホームズ。もしかして知らないとか。
By the way, you heard it right. He did say Sherlock Holmes, but then in English they had to change the name to Sherlock Sholmes. But the Japanese audio keeps the original name. Is this the new Sherlock Holmes anime? No, Orland, it's the Sherlock Sholmes. What's going on? Something's not right here. So Orland, they call they kept his name in Japanese as Sherlock Holmes. Even in the Japanese audio, it's still Sherlock Holmes. But in English, it's Herlock Sholmes because, you know, American copyrights. He's not right here. There's trouble in the air. What are you doing, Orland? Did you have work today? Wait. I can't move. Ha! He's chained up. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So you wake up now, Who the fuck are you? We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. Whoa. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You. Well, they don't think copyright holders know Japanese. No, because the Japanese audio, you know, originally they did say Sherlock Holmes, and it stays that way. No, we're not playing Shenmue. Ha, you found me then. Da, we found you and now you pay, criminal. What? How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, sorry. Now you have been found. It's time for It's time to admit your crimes unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, Make them walk the plank. No, I'll tell you everything. Wait, there's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Uh-oh, not again. Miss Susato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Ha! You do not know? You are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. Rip, Kazuma's dead. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabinet, that was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs, surely you don't think I have to know, why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. He's about to scream, no! See? Saw that coming. Kazuma. It was just a few short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor, I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. Ugh, I hope not. I get a feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Toba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we can confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Kid starts the stream by killing someone. Oh! I didn't start the stream by killing someone. You always start the stream by killing someone. Especially in Monster Hunter games. It's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there. I think it won't be for long. Anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what. Why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. Well, killing myself don't count. It counts. But you also kill Scrimmage. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We'll leave you at the next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. Nah, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on a ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there's something I would like to ask of you, too. Ugh, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. The nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they really think I did it? They think I'm Cosmo's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to a cabin via a porthole window. And the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Unless they're still in this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What exactly happened? Are you still going to deny the charges? Charge even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. You don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. Wow. Wow, this started out great. We had a long case, with case 1 being 6 hours or so. And then, now we start with another fucking murder case, except it's our best friend dying. Jesus Christ. They really like killing off, characters that are important. Like, they're like the mentors, right? You did it to Mia in the very first game, and now they do it to Cosmo here. Jesus. Can anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Cosmo? Presumably that's something you know the answers to better than anyone. Please, whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't come. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. Crewmen forced the cabin open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Cosmo collapsed on the floor. And, of course, the bloody writing with the hands. And the white tape there shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's very hard to believe. It's all very hard for me to believe too, trust me. Now I've told you everything I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. Ugh, my head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Oh, that means you got hit. Are you even on board this ship now, Hold-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No. That would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. Orland! Orland, if you're still here. Aha! I got one. I ain't your girlfriend, bitch. P. Bandai. An old kid. I got one, finally. I wanted this forever. What do you mean, ew? How are you gonna say looks cool and ew at the same time? You motherfucker. I don't understand. Yeah, it also costs a lot though. It was $65. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such lengths to smuggle me into England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of the incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. That's crazy girl mentality. Nah. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. That look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept that a secret from you, my stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me. Yup, from being a guilty party. To avoid me becoming guilty by association. Oh, yeah, exactly that. We're perfect, in fact. I was talking about Orland? Oh, I mean, Orland's crazy. We know this. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabinet? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat just like he always did. Then I got into that wardrobe over there just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really, I do. But it's true. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you, but the trouble is, There's no one else who could have possibly done this. Ugh. God, I have to prove my innocence in a case like this. Twice we have to defend ourselves. Cosmo, I don't understand why. Why does this have to happen? Ugh, I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Cosmo was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. Now I'm supposed to just sit around with my hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Cosmo's life and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hiya! Oh! Jesus. What's up? That was a Susato takedown. A Susato, what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it? Yes, you're innocent. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already? What you just achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting you to present some conclusive evidence. This is a sex scene. No, it's not. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show you some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. This is a paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember working really hard to make it. But I'll never forget how Cosmo reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it, so we used it anyway. And it worked. I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. You can see the remnants of the glue we used to stick it over the wardrobe doors. Although it wasn't proper glue, of course. We didn't have any of that with us. So I pulverized some rice into a paste and used it instead. But to a soul like me, every single grain of rice represents precious rations. That's why I spread this as thinly as possible, so I couldn't bear to waste any. Oh, it's the same thing. Whoops, I accidentally clicked it again. Wow, a symbol of Yume University. Every student wears a pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like the spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although it does cause problems. A lot of students end up cutting their fingers with their badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders, a sharp pin for a sharp line or something. Personal student number is engraved on the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you at Yume University. You may not come in, they say. Of course, you can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere. But then I forget not to forget that. Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the door? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Cosmo would always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally he did the same last night as well. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly a culprit, I wouldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? So Jade, what are you playing lately? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here, at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. Can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? Now I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I don't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Kazuma-sama, no wonder he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner. I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese now, son. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Oh dear, that won't do. What's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused that I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you? Know how to hold this on. I'm sure you're careful to look around using the different directionals, aren't you? Now let's investigate all corners of this cabinet. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruto-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh no, I suppose not. Well, it must have been rather exciting making it this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. Yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. Last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes. It carries a lot of memories here. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought aboard inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it. I see it says this way up in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his final destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means... What? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! What the f... That's out of the question. What? We need a clue! What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if something... If it's something important, something relevant to the case? Alright. I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either, but in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. What's this, a statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf was ransacked and everything mowed down at once. I wonder if... Perhaps it was Kazuma-sama's doing his winning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Nakuro-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. This is our rules of passage for travel aboard SS Buria. This is essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers aboard. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? What are you staring at me? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure, either way I wasn't supposed to be in here. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. However, whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. Glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this with him, around with him, would he? I don't know, the man just carries a sword instead. And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right, it's the color of a brick. Isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabinet. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewmate thinks makes a scene of crime. Excuse me. What? Hi, I was wondering how's it going? The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking for the investigator for information about his crime, very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information though, I have to keep track. So last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Niet! Of course not. Now back to a corner of the room and make silence. Say no more to you. Did I just hit a nerve? Just for a minute he seemed a little flustered. That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Sato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question, when and how did the plate end up on the floor? But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all more for me. Oh no, does that mean Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Ugh. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. There's nothing on the table at all. The plate and cutlery all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I was sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-san. No! No. This is... Yes. A bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Wait, you can get out over there! Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds magical. Sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just everyone's busy, that's all. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into a cabinet. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, it looks like it's almost connected to the next door cabinet. It would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into a room, surely it could be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough or something like that. I suppose maybe that's it. Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here. Huh. But he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Now to hold those on, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that man is? Do you really not know who that is? Nope. He doesn't. We do. Well, no. I haven't gotten... I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. Doesn't look like a member of a crew. Something very unusual about him. And he's investigating Cosmo's desk. Or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, you simply must talk with him. Am I imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. If you press A on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright, then I'll get that suspicious tall gentleman in my sight and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Seiki, the word for justice. Brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Cosmo. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet you, can you really look at those characters without feeling shame knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you're stowed away on the ship? Yes. Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that the Japanese man's katana is the soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, the boat had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it slides across to secure the door shut. But with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. Oh, it's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and a thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. The door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There will be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings. I hope I haven't kept you long. Ah. What exactly were we doing on Cosmo's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? He's looking right at me with those things. Oh, it feels like he's looking right through me. Oh, yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. No. Sorry? What? And now, while venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There's no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, aren't you? You are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in his cabinet who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this, Cosmo-sama. No. God damn it, you're gullible. What? And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's shameful behavior, Naruto-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way yeah! Not again. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. As for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? While I was venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha, there you have it, you see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So I'm not really sure you call it deduction, it's more plain in observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right! Ha! I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How are you missing me? I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. It's actually Sherlock Holmes. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. That's right, I'm gonna say his correct fucking name, people. The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. You know this man, Suzawa-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruto-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on? Planet of your small brain. You must ask him what he's deduced. You have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. No, he hasn't. Really, why do I feel uneasy about this? So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. I see. You're German? Erlock, was it? No, I have no I mean, I have hair. Please call me Holmes. You read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rand's magazine. Full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. Great. Never missed an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then. Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you start to think that you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward. A trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name Dr. Wilson. He couldn't use Dr. Watson. Presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. At this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really, I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. Yeah? Science? Could be. Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all of these are data. Right. Trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago, how can you look at me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Peter suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place. That's right. There was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I see, in other words. I mean these now because of him. When I became anxious about Cosmo-sama about this morning, I summoned all other crew members to force the cabin door open. and I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And these handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah! The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really, 2 facts you say? Mr. Holmes, tell us please, what 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah yes, first let us be precise. 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2, the victim was a Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. The victim was not Russian, the victim was Japanese. Hold on, Mr. Holmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderob may be the name of a certain killer, a certain Robert Garde. Perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. There you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. If my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of Russian people. Our school uniforms are traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. Ha! I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I thought might analyze it for possible hidden details. Hold on, let me take a picture of this and send it to a friend. Took a photo of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. I hope you actually find the actual meaning. But he might just be telling people, hey, there's someone in the wardrobe. Which is kind of bad in the end. It was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Can I ask you something, Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes, what pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that, Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to truth. Would you mind explaining the train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, what the fuck, Koheho? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian, I don't speak Russian. Deduction just now. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin part 16. Hydrate and posture check. Here's dehydrate. I mean, I don't know, there's not much to do about posture. It's I'm sitting on a chair. That's it. Ah yes, the more sordid details. It was fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Cosmo a Russian? Sounds like Mr. Holmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Cosmo wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who could kill the very man who helped him to escape his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. Oh, Jesus. No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passengers list. Need I say more? That's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. Oh wait. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyways? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself. As a little memento of this great education. Oh, great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. So we're a trash can to you now. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back. Cast your eyes over it sometime if the interest takes you. Though you may need someone to interpret. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. If he knows we need someone to interpret. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, the revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? Solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he only needs to shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Holmes. I'm not quite sure this guy is sane. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Nakamoto-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. Can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know, I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you noticed this article. Ah, allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you, he pops up everywhere, there's Mr. Holmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in a costume when she was found missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rupees. How much are 20,000 rubles? Oh, rubles. I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Suzato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. Tiara is property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, yet I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It doesn't seem to be a Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response in Naruhodo. It was all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt to take a glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. What were you just investigating? Before we started talking, you were examining Cosmo's desk. Cosmo? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. By the way, I'll be right back. I need to get some water. Because I'm almost out. Back with the agua. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Cosmo was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It would upset some people. Tragic. It's something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've already read it? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you know, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Zazasan, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruto-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyways, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Perhaps be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. Smattering, dear boy, smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Huh. Well, this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before, then? If you'd be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Holmes. Much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry in hearing Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just two shortened sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard of that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say. The man was presumably referring to the lattice over there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. If I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. Anyone who saw that would have thought that already. Especially after reading that diary, if they didn't think about it before. So yes, I intend to investigate, hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? Why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you're clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Holmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? No, really. So what were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just plain being rude. Asshole. Off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Not all the time. What are you just standing there for? You must go investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? Hiya! What the fuck? After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave his clue you're willing to give up, you're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabinet while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Great idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. I owe it to Cosmo to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. Is that something wrong, Naruto-san? Oh no. It's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes? What can I do for you? Oh. I recognize that face, but it can't be. It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew on board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I've never expected to see this man on board. He's gonna be helpful to us, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? I guess why are you dressed as a member of the crew? You just said it a bit ago. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. He entrusted me with assuring that Osogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated. Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board. From morning until night every day. But I never imagined it would happen here inside his own cabin, not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all I can do to help now, just say the word. Get me out of these cuffs.
Hostile forces detected. Arming raid defenses.
Che Luden, welcome to the stream and thanks for the raid. You're streaming Persona 5 Royal? Ooh, I love that game. I platinumed that game a while back, so I hope you're enjoying it. You're welcome and thanks for being a raid target. No, thank you for the raid, actually. I'm just like, wow. You're nearly done with it? Nice, nice. How'd you find me? Like, did you just scour targets for the specific games or just... Oh, and thanks for bringing your awesome community in. Coyote raid? Ooh. How did you find me? Wait, there's a rocket in there. Oh, there's a Twitch raid thing. It looks like a missile or a rocket. Almost reminds me of Bullet Bill from Mario Kart. Now, I've been following you for a while. Just don't get time to stop in very often. Ah, okay. Doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Ah, Hosonaga knows! Follow since 2018, actually. BRB? Okay. I don't have a BRB command. I have a lurk. Wait, since 2018. Forgive me? There's been followers and people on like just popping in, so I may not remember right away. but I still appreciate you having followed since 2018 and popping in now. I mean, it's been 3 years. I don't feel upset about it, man. Around March. And there's been a lot of hectic things since pandemic started, and then started this year. I was also just working a very hectic schedule. It's like rare I get to stay on schedule to stream now, so like the fact that I'm streaming on a Monday is amazing now. Shut up. Oops. Jade, please. I already also shouted him out. Don't worry, one of my mods likes to be late on the shoutouts. Oh, now she's shouting me out. See, one of my mods just being a smart aleck. But yeah, thanks for the shoutouts again. Thanks for the lurk, Taylun. I hope your stream was great. Enjoy your lurk. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Have a great rest of the stream, amigo. Good to meet you again. Yep. It's good times. Alright. Whatever you end up doing, I hope you get to kind of peek in on this game. Great Ace Attorney is a pretty good game, and I love the Ace Attorney series. Once again, thank you for the raid, Taylun. I hope your stream was great, and I hope you overall have a good night. Jade, no you don't. Thomas, she did that after I already shouted out Taylun. I thought my mods were all lurking, so... I figured you were playing Pokemon Unite right now, Thomas. Yeah, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you moved or even touched the handle of the cabin door, stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. Uh-oh. Just finished your night for the day. No, at least I shouted him out. After I already did it. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example. I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence now all the time by presenting you a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's the same as when you are in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply press the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, the evidence that could give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright. Yes, I think I might know what we can use. Yeah, the diary. Let's see if I can present the detective with the evidence he needs to persuade the captain. No. Anyways, I ended up buying the battle pass for Unite. I need to play more Unite. I haven't been able to play it, but I have the battle pass as well. What's that? It's Cosmo's diary. Just before he died, Cosmo-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from a ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes. Still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me, the ventilator, is it? Very astute, Inspector. The ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right, so if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Never thought this would be the game to get me to turn on my Switch every day now, but here I am. The game still doesn't get me to turn on my Switch every day. This game, however Grace the Ace Attorney would until I'm done. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. Like, to this day, I still don't find my Switch as useful as my Sony consoles. And this is because I don't play Smash as much, if at all. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust an investigation to you. You willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove these handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Are you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. I promise you I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment, then, Naruhodo-san. I only turn on Smash for new DLC characters for a few days, then back to not using my Switch. I haven't even played the new DLC characters. Well, not much. Just move and like I didn't play Kazuma for starters. Move, alright. Let's find out what we can. This is buried at the first class cabin passage. Ooh, I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. Spacious out here is less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Hazuma-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in the steerage. Really? That must be awful. Well, look over there. Another crewman keeping watch. And he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. The door next to him leads to a second class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Look, like people in handcuffs. Now, Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Cosmo's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. Must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look. The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. It's been playing on my mind for a while, actually. But how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, it's really quite simple now to hold this on, is it? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than a ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. A ventilator connects to. There's a ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Oh, excuse me. We need to get inside this cabin here. Sayers on the seat volumes. They're clearly saying keep out. That's what I wrote on the sign to put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is clearly more effective. What is that? It's a trap. Doesn't look like he's going to let us pass. That's a problem. Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think what it's called, that's what it is called, cheese. It's made from milk of cows. Cheese. Wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it now all the time. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really, but I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Cosmo's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I will get a little snack for you later. I'll find a little snack for you later. Jesus. What do you think this is? Not a very pleasing shape, is it? That's an emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to see. What are you doing now the whole time? You mustn't touch it. But this is an emergency. Look at these handcuffs. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything could just stop, the ship included. If you have something, do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. That's a huge book on top of the table over there. There's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like a ship's log. Shall we have a look through it? The writing's so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing, no reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. Not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment Naruto-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably, that means there was nothing to report. That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reached for the door of the handle, the burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started it with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Cosmo's death remains a mystery anyway. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer? That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid? Oh, we seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Suzato-san. I'm not sailor. My mother gave me a name. I'm senior crewman Biff Stroganoff. Stroganoff. Oh boy. Whew, the best thing is to just avoid eye contact, I think. First class cabin area. Mr. Stroganoff. About this first class cabin area. Here we are in the finest part of Beria steamship. For very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings, and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. This is why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Osogi's currently occupied? Yeah. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Osogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He's a very important Western gentleman. He's a very important Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with the murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is an authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. Wow! That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Cosmo's cabin the whole time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important, is that right? That is not your business. Christ's sake. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Da, all the time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder. Could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. Did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Here. Her. Son, did you understand any of that? It was clearly a no. It was about you. I saw no. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. You didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way. He looked us the other way. I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It's time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkheaded to second class area, staying locked at all times. If you escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as English say, when the pigs fly, yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Cosmo-san wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabinet can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabinet. Such a high-pitched scream. Must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Holmes, I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Holmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? And how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What prey can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Ha ha ha! Who are you? Oh boy. A Western gentleman. This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does seem to be the only person here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you now. Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me, and you are? I'm the one and only, the actual Sherlock Holmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I'm a great detective. I'm a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the cover of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you must trust me completely. This man uses the magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust the detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So I might be so bold to ask you to open that small traveling case. What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is not traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh my, did you just see that, Mr. Naruto? Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now, otherwise I call the steward. So this is Cosmo's neighbor, Mr. Grimsby Royalot. There's no doubt about it. The strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. What do you think you're doing? This is my cabin. Get out. Could we perhaps have a look at inside your traveling case? No. Ah, what a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. There doesn't appear anything more we can do. I agree, but there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective gets some over Mr. Royalot. Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Holmes? You only need to address me as Holmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Holmes, what were you doing there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe while I was waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of deduction into service! Oh, it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually you're spot on for once. Observe closely. A Russian host in this cabinet, Mr. Royalot, is clearly trying to hide something. Do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what you're about to see may astound you. Or he's about to make a fool of himself. For I'm about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Great. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Holmes? I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on the first meeting, but I once read, it's a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh, I must have complete silence! What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I've quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Royalot, I've reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? Number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize what you have been discovered. Does it not? Ah! Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Holmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was his great deduction. Nothing can deceive Mr. Holmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What ineffable twaddle. Oh yes, I've heard about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. I mean, it's working on this guy, it's baiting the fuck out of him, that's the saddest part. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color has drained from Mr. Roylott's face. It looks like somehow both Mr. Holmes' conclusions were right. How could I possibly know such things as you wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. Great. The great deduction, the game is afoot. Plainly put, let us work through my deductions together. So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Royla, obviously what catches the eye in the first place. It's an enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask yourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roy? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular, the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have also read, Mr. Roylock. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence reveals that your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Revolutionary on the run. Now, as for my second conclusion, that's right. It was not D, it was my. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime over there. Yes, Mr. Roylock. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes astray, you see. I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies there, where the furtive glance falls. Proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. That traveling case. It's time I think the case be opened and its contents laid bare. Both the case and the bag in the corner, please. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps? One slight enough to fit therein. I don't know if anyone actually fits in there. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless Doyle betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can be equally found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of objection! And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlov. Kidnapping of a young ballerina. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the Russian enigma. Elemensky. Salazan. That wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Holmes' brilliant deductions, you know, but that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Holmes. Could you come over here for a minute? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. To start with, there's a newspaper article that we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our earlier discussion. At the time, I believe I told you. But the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness, Mr. Holmes, Mr. Orla does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. In fairness to Mr. Holmes. Another thing, the part about him abducting ballerina, indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would be too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is clearly too small. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old into that case, even if you push really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? The young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar. For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of the small case. Oh dear, I think you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Holmes. This whole thing's turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Holmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Susato. It's just one or two keywords in his deductions that seem to let him down. Also, I was wondering if we may perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions, yes, but very tactfully. I'm sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Holmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. So at times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. No one does. It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Where are your handcuffs? Oh, how did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Holmes, you are a marvel! Don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular! Oh my god. Old man's identity. So the dubious looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. No. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off the beard? I doubt that's something you'd have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit with me, though. Doesn't quite sit with Mr. Roylott either. Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either, which means I suppose that deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a keyword here. Now to hold this on and see if that helps. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intends to use his shears on. Exactly. If we do find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Holmes' deduction better, then what? Then we'll leave the rest in your keeper hands now to hold us on. Why am I the one to do something about this? Anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott going to use those enormous shears for? Thick hat, copious beard. You're looking at buttons on his coat. Could it be that Mr. Roylott was planning to cut these off? Oh, why? Well, when you're wearing thick gloves, it can be very hard to undo buttons. Then, couldn't you just take off your gloves first? Aha! So he's going to use scissors to cut his gloves off then. I want you to take a deep breath and look at this from a fresh perspective, Naruto-san. Oh, I think she's angry. It's a very thick hat, isn't it? Ah. That's the secret, you see, Naruto-san. Don't you know? Secret what? Well, before we left Japan, I took some time to study various foreign countries. Russia is a land of unimaginable cold, and a thick hat is the secret to keeping warm. Without one, I read that your brain would freeze. That was just one of many fascinating snippets of information in Old Mother Not Russia. I think you picked the wrong book there. I think maybe you picked the wrong book there. What is this? What is that cascade of stunning golden locks? No. The color is not the point. The point is what's it doing on the back of Mr. Warlord's head? How is it growing out from underneath this thick black hair? Yes, that's true. So it's stunning. It's so stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Oh, I know who this is now. Ever since we saw the blonde hair, it's probably the frickin' ballerina, no? Something's definitely not right here. You're on the verge of using the shoes to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise details intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman. Judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain and simple. We have clear evidence to shed the light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman disguised as you. What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, nodded the whole time. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Holmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business, not strictly Yes, I understand. Say no more. Anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Holmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylat is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. Article about ballerina. The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article of the ballerina. That's right, you hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Arrgh! Oh! That went right into the hat. Could have cut the head off. You stabbed her right in the head. She's a beautiful lady, though. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. Or, I guess, chick. She's 15, right? Please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. A ballerina on the run. Solved. Kidnapping of a young ballerina. Cross that out, too. Now, as for my second conclusion, or deduction, sorry, ill conclusion. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. The proof of this crime over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is a ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. She clearly can't be inside that traveling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime this young woman's about apparently committing? Ha, see, I'm going to step in to fix the great detective's mistake here. You seem to look pleased, Miss Naruto-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Holmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Wow. This looks like... Look at this dazzling tiara. I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, you think? Oh, not hold this on. Try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras when you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Waste paper basket. Let's have a little look inside. Naruto-san, it's poor to get to go shifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Ah, I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. If the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. Summary. The crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. Arrgh! I have no one, no family, no friends. I'm all alone and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia? It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There's no point in hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. There's probably a pet in it. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I've ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the bookshelf. He simply changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Holmes is adapting his logic to changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all of this? It's a wild guess. It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn. I agree. That's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden in that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookshelves. Ah, it looks like these are the same books that we have in our cabin. And I suppose the steward likes to make sure passengers have plenty to read for a long voyage. And I've noticed how all the books have fallen over just like in Cosmo's cabin. It looks like almost looks like someone's taking a sweep at them. Miss Pavlova, while she was practicing her ballet. Anyway, the point is, we don't have time to look through all these books at the moment. We couldn't even if we wanted. They're all in Russian. Well, that's a relief. Let's try our luck elsewhere. It's a charming little picture, isn't it? What is it? Someone climbing a steep mountainside, or is it something more than it seems to be? When you've been on the flat sea for a while, maybe you start seeing hills and mountains and everything. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in the cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. That's exactly the same notice in our cabin too. I wonder if what happens if you break the rules. Oh dear. I'm sure there will be severe punishment out of this. You'll probably be left adrift in the freezing cold ocean, or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've been actually serving time for weeks now, have I? Yes. The reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from the carriage on this vessel. The real reason why you refuse to open it is thus revealing. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your traveling case. Is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet. Arg. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary. So clearly, you aren't who you said you were. No, I'm not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Beria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendations is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out that scream we heard from outside the cabinet? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was so sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man, I see. I put on fur hat and fake beard. Then just before you came in, I saw on the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible, picked the scissors in my hand, and at that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things like that happen sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one thing I'd like to know. What exactly do they have inside a traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside, my only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If you haven't finds out, if you see to any of the crew, your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, wasn't it something Mr. Holmes' great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what, but at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh yes, what? Observe your wrists. My... Damn it. Asshole. Ah, your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I've restored your shackles. When and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Huh? Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Cosmo wrote about in his diary really was. Alright, and this is where I end it for tonight, because I know if I drag on, it's gonna go long. Let's see who we can raid. Especially since I know how long the first case was already, and that likelihood, every case after this is even longer. Oh, you know what? Let's raid it. Amy. She's streaming Pokemon Unite. Let me double check to make sure. Last time we got bamboozled. I mean, I'll raid her anyway, but you know. Yeah, she's on stream Pokemon Unite. So, whoever's still lurking, use the raid and sub-raid messages. And for those of y'all that tuned in today and rated me and subbed and whatnot, thank you. I appreciate all of you. Let me switch to the full screen real quick. Appreciate everything from tonight, especially since it's been a while since I streamed on a Monday, but you guys still tuned in. I hope to be able to stream tomorrow as well. More Great Ace Attorney. Depends on how long I end up working and how tired I am. But anyways, for now, go enjoy some Pokemon Unite. They just started stream about 15. Well, Amy sometimes started stream about 15 minutes ago. She's probably gonna go through chat with everybody and then play Pokemon Unite. But anyways, goodbye and good night. Bang.